Ballast water management part 1. What is ballast water management? Ballast water is the water, sea or river used in loading on a ship in a tank, also known as a ballast tank, where we take the water, which is a kind of weight loaded on the ship. When a cargo ship leaves a port without cargo, seawater is loaded at a port and discharged outside the ship at other port where the cargo is loaded. Because the contained aquatic organism in the ballast water affects the regional ecosystem, regulations under international treaties are made to save the marine ecological balance. Therefore, after September 2017, IMO has decided that all ships must comply with the requirements that a ballast water management system needs to be followed on each ship. You can see in the photo, the ballast water is being discharged from the ballast water tanks and the cargo is getting loaded. Let's have a view at the next slide. The next slide is showing very clearly, in case we are discharging and we are taking in water which is acting as a weight. In number 2, when the cargo hold is empty, we have got ballast in it. Next is, in case we are loading cargo, we are going to discharge the ballast water at the destination port. And number 4 is, now once the cargo is loaded, the ballast tanks are empty. This is the procedure which is normally followed on all the ships, and this particular ballast water is being loaded and discharged or ballasted and deballasted from every ship. Effect of ballast water on marine and coastal ecology. Effect means what is having a bad effect. The transfer of aquatic organism through ship's ballast water is one of the most important issues. Aquatic organisms that are transported around the globe via ship's ballast water have a negative effect on marine and coastal ecology. It is very clearly seen in Australian coast, which has got a Great Barrier Reef, and the Great Barrier Reef is getting affected extremely badly. Aquatic organism growth in the new area, competing with the habitat's natural species, and may replace keystone species or cause a decline in the extinction in one of the most indigenous species, severely disrupting the ecosystem. In addition to these, they cause serious environmental, economical and human health impacts. These alien organism specified species are referred as an invasive non-native species. Here you can see very clearly, you have a few samples which are given, which is 10 most unwanted problematic species. This is what IMO has published: cholera, Clandosaran water flea, toxic algae, mitten crab, European green cap, round goby, North American conch jelly, North Pacific sea star, zebra mussel and Asian kelp. What changes are happening here is how much of ballast is being traded with the number of ships which are going up. The size of ships which are going up is creating a great havoc. What is Ballast Water Management Convention? Now we have a Ballast Water Management Convention. This management convention which is there, this is for the management of the ballast water and the sediments, is a treaty adopted by IMO to help prevent the spread of potentially harmful aquatic organism, which we have discussed just now, and pathogen in ships' ballast water. From 8 September 2017, ships must manage their ballast water so that aquatic organism and pathogens are removed or rendered harmless before the ballast water is released in the new location. What it is saying is that from 2017 we have to be more careful. This will help prevent the spread of invasive species as well as potentially harmful pathogens. What ship needs to do from the date of entry into the force, that is what we are talking in 2017, ships in international traffic are required to manage their ballast water and sediments to a certain standards. according to ship specific ballast water management plan. Now, what does ship need to carry a ballast water management plan? This plan has to be accepted by the flag state. Specific to each ship, ballast water management plan include a detailed description of the actions to be taken to implement ballast water management required. A ballast water record book to record when ballast water is taken on board, circulated or treated for ballast water management purpose, and discharged into the sea. It should also record when ballast water is discharged to a reception facility. That is, when the vessel comes at the berth, we are directly pumping it ashore and they are carrying out a treatment. An accidental or exceptional discharge of ballast water in case due to heavy weather or some damage to the ship or to save the lives, we have to exceptionally discharge that ballast water. An international ballast water management certificate, it becomes a statutory certificate. Ships of 400 gross tonnage and above, this is issued on behalf of administration, flag state. Either somebody who is been appointed by the administration, something like classification society, they can issue, or the flag state will issue, and certifies that the ship carries out ballast water management in accordance with BWM convention. Now, this ballast water operation, where exactly it is working? Uptake of ballast water, when we are uptaking it, that time we are getting this aquatic organism. So we have to make sure that whenever we are taking the ballast water, what precautions need to be taken. Second is, in case the ship is in transit, when the ship is moving, that time we have to change the ballast, which is for the existing ships. And next is ballast water and aquatic organism discharge. When we discharge the complete thing, we have to make sure that, especially in ports or in certain areas, they are discharged in such a way that there is no major exchange of the aquatic organisms. Where does it not apply? It is not applied to ships which has got sealed tanks or which doesn't have ballast water which is carrying, and which is only operating in a certain coastal water. Like if a ship is trading only on Indian coast, it does not require, the ballast water management is not applicable. Warships, naval auxiliary ships is not required. And next is ships only operates in water under the jurisdiction of one party or high seas. That is, again, it does not apply. Now there are two standards which are coming up, which is D1 and D2. D1 standard is the ships exchange and their ballast water in open seas away from coastal areas. Ideally, this means at least 200 nautical miles from land and in water at least 200 meters deep. By doing this, fewer organisms will survive, and so ships will be less likely to introduce potentially harmful species when they are released in the ballast water. D2 standards, the maximum amount of viable organism allowed to be discharged, including specified indicators, microbes, and harmful to human health. From the date of entry in force, the Ballast Water Management Convention, all ships must conform at least to D1 standard and new ships to D2 standard. Okay. In D1 standard, we are carrying out exchange. In D2 standard, we have ballast water treatment equipment which has become compulsory for all the new ships which are being built. Okay. And then IMO member government meeting with the MEPC have agreed to implement a timetable. The timetable is coming further, in which you will come to know when exactly all these items are coming. Between D1 and D2 standard, the difference is that D1 relates to the ballast water exchange, while D2 specifies the maximum amount of viable organism allowed to the discharge, including specified indicators, microbes harmful to human health. The D1 standard which is there, we are talking about the exchange of ballast water, and which 95% at least of the water is getting exchanged. D2 standard says it is not talking about the exchange, it is talking directly how much organism is going to be remaining after the treatment or the treatment plant. And this D2 standard which is coming into force for all the new ships, this is talking about 10 viable organism per cubic meter and then one colony forming unit per 100 millimeters, less than 250 CFU per 100 milliliters of Escherichia coli, and 100 CFU per 100 milliliters of intestinal enterococci. So these are the new requirement, and they are specially bad for the human health, which we are talking. Now next is, what is the new schedule of implementation? What is the timing? Now as per this, all the ships have to come to the standard of D2. That is what we have spoken, how much of species is going to remain from 8 September 2024. Okay, from 8 September 2017, new ship must meet the D2 standard. All ships must have a ballast water management plan, a ballast water record book, an international ballast water management certificate. Existing ships meet at least D1 standards, and then otherwise meet the D2 standards, but it is not mandatory. The mandatory is going to become after 8 September 2024. IOPPC renewal survey after 8 September 2019. A ship undergoing a renewal survey with the IOPP certificate will need to meet the D2 standard by the date of this renewal. Renewal survey between 8 September 2017 and 19, which has already been done. If the previous renewal survey is between 8 September 14 and 17, then the ship must comply with D2 standards by the renewal survey. If the previous renewal survey is before 8 September 2014, then the ship must wait until the next renewal survey. So most of the ships now have a treatment plant which are retrofitted. This is, let's come down to the D1 standard. Whenever we are carrying out the ballast water exchange, it has to be 200 nautical miles and 200 meters deep, 50 nautical miles and 200 meters deep, and then in area designated by the port state, neither deviation nor delay to the ship. Ballast water exchange should only undertake when safety of the ship is guaranteed. In case like what we have shown in the last week, we are getting a very rough seas, there is not required to carry out ballast water exchange as per D1. Where not to do the uptake is shallow waters, don't do it. Dredging areas, no. Known infected areas, sewage outfall, we have got lot of dumping grounds in the sea where a lot of sewage is getting dumped. Seafood production area, don't do that. Poor tidal flushing, they have got high tide and low tide, don't do it. Okay. When phytoplankton blooms at night, especially, you can see a lot of phytoplanktons. You are not supposed to do it at night. We cannot see, so avoid doing it at night. This is what it says. Now this is around the coast of Australia. They said in the red area there is no ballast water exchange. In the dark yellow area they say it is restricted. In the light yellow area up to 200 nautical miles is again restricted. Only green area is permitted. This is one of the sample which is given how exactly the ballast water exchange is not accepted any other places. This is in detail which we are mentioning how the ballast water exchange is not permitted, and you can see the distance. If the distance is less than 200 nautical miles, it is not accepted. Here again we have got a photo of the ballast water in case we have got an archipelago. So that in the archipelago it is not allowed to have a ballast water exchange which is seen, and the distance is not permitting it. Ballast water exchange regulation B4. Now this regulation is saying that either you have a sequential method or a flow through method. Now this is still getting obsolete very soon, and we have to make sure, but still we need to know. In sequential method we are emptying the tank and again refilling it. Flow through method is simultaneously filling and outflowing the ballast water, which is 3 times the total ballast water capacity. Dilution method, pumping of water from top of the tank and releasing the water from the bottom simultaneously. So there are 3 methods. Now whenever we are going to carry out the ballast water exchange, the stability of the ship has to be kept in mind. So we have to ensure that the stability is okay and the ship doesn't topple or as shown in the picture. It should not get overstressed. There should not be sloshing in the loads. In case you have got a rough weather, the water which is going in the tank is moving from port to starboard or from forward to aft, and this sloshing can damage the ship. Torsional loads which are there right on top on the wing tanks, it should not be excess. Reduction in maneuverability, it should not be that you should be down by head and you cannot maneuver the ship properly. Reduction in drafts, the draft which is there in ship, it should not be that the propeller is coming out. Second is ice, third, the next is icing. The icing should not take place, otherwise pumping out that water, especially in the area which has got ice, you have to be careful. Occupational hazard and fatigue of the crew, it should not be that the people are working for very long hours and they are tired and their mind is not working in a very correct manner. Excessive forces on securing arrangement of containers on specific cargo. In case of rolling or something, what is shown in the bottom picture, it should not have excessive arrangement of containers. The excessive forces should not let the containers be damaged. So we have to be careful, especially during the exchange of the ballast water. Now, talking about how this compliance and when this compliance is going to be done. Existing vessels is IOPP renewal survey is completed. Then first IOPP renewal from 8 September 2019, D2 compliance first IOPP renewal survey. D2 compliance by second IOPP renewal survey is coming on 8 September 2022, which has already come. By 8 September 2024, all ships have to have D2 standards. So we are supposed to have a ballast water treatment plan. I'm going to discuss regarding the treatment plans in the coming videos. Ballast water exchange D1 standard up to 95%, flow through method, pumps to overflow, dilution method and sequential method. All three methods we have discussed already. Next is D2 standards. We are going much into detail, and these are the standards in case somebody wants to keep a track or somebody wants to double check. It should be very clearly mentioned in the ballast water management plan also. Okay, this ballast water management system has to be type approved, and this type approval is given in D3 standards. That is all for the present video. In the next video, we are talking further about the D2 requirements and other requirements which are coming into force. Bye for now.